Anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Former Exodus International President Alan Chambers was arrested in Florida after police allege he solicited sex from someone he believed was a 14-year-old boy during an undercover investigation.
New HIV medication IDVYNSO offers a simplified two-drug option for virally suppressed adults. It will maintain an undetectable status, giving LGBTQ people another important long-term HIV care choice.
Apple's new iOS nudity warning feature is frustrating some LGBTQ long-distance couples who say consensual FaceTime intimacy is being interrupted due to the feature.
LGBTQ advocates joined thousands in Montgomery, Alabama, demanding stronger voting protections after the Supreme Court guts the Voting Rights Act.
Republican Congressman Thomas Massie faces backlash after performing with far-right activist David Riley, known for racist and anti-LGBTQ+ remarks. Critics tie it to the hateful rhetoric used in Massie's re-election campaign ad. All this important LGBTQ+ news and a whole lot more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channel.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
And we thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the Rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ+ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Wednesday, May 20th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Happening Now Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots, happening out South Florida.
This year, our magazine celebrates 41 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and Queer News Tonight celebrates our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 television stories told. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader communities.
This year alone, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this very table and share their voices as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ+ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table Anchor Vaughn Biggs. Vaughn is a force in the LGBTQ+ and HIV justice using his skills as a national speaker, a writer, and passionate HIV empowerment advocate. He pushes back against stigma and complacency with unapologetic truth. Vaughn is the Community Engagement Coordinator for Holy Cross Health, Executive Committee member for the National HIV Aging Advocacy Network, and a founding board member of TransEd. Welcome back to the show, Vaughn. So, something that I adore about you and I try to follow myself is that you are constantly learning. Okay, yes. You are constantly learning. You're constantly educating yourself. You are presently in school right now also.
Yes.
I mean, how do you find the time to do all this and still have time to be with your friends and get laid? Like how?
There's lots of options, right? Very little sleep. But no, for me, it's fun. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So I do really love and enjoy reading. Being back in school, I used to write a long time ago, and doing that has got me back to writing, which is amazing. So I've really enjoyed it. And
ooh, short stories by Von Biggs about like boys in leather doing things and harnesses.
My memoir is going to be coming out. So, so I'm in chapter 9 of like 25 chapters. But yeah.
I love that. Is it like heated rivalry that they were hot from the episode number 1?
Well, you have to think about it. Birth from, being heterosexual for 50 years of my life.
Oh, baby, you were never heterosexual.
Well, true. But, what's amazing in writing is I've gone back and relived all this is to go back and I make little question marks and I didn't know. And I didn't know. When I relive a memory, it's and I didn't know I was gay. I didn't know. So it's very interesting.
Well, I, for one, will be looking forward to Von Biggs' memoir, right? Look at John. John's like, it's going to be juicy.
I'm skipping straight to chapter 69.
Yes. Von, thank you so much for being back at the table at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor TriniDaddy. He's a violinist and a pianist with the Miami City Ballet and is the program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. Welcome back to the show, Trini. Trini, you're always working on something. You are like one of the busiest dudes I know too. I mean, and you come all the way here from Homestead, which we so appreciate. What are you into right now? Who are you making?
That's a personal question.
We have a right to know, Trin.
I have a lot of things cooking right now. I don't have an event. I'm going to wait till another couple weeks for the tickets and links and stuff to be out. But I'm definitely working on this one fundraiser that's going to happen at the Art Center stage with the Miami City Ballet, and I'm doing In the Heights with the Seminole Theater Players. So we're opening that in July. But we have a fantastic cast and some amazing dancers. It's going to be like probably rivaling the Broadway version of it. With those
rivaling Lin-Manuel Miranda, you ain't got nothing on them, nothing.
Oh. Yeah. So we're doing that, and then I have a chamber concert coming up where I'll be performing.
See, so
I
thought for sure you had like the summer off or something like that.
Never. No. Like idle hands are for the devil. Like I just can't sit still for a day or two. It's my mother's Trinidadian upbringing. It's if I were to even just look like I wasn't doing anything or relaxing, she'd be like, "Oh, it's wonderful that the prince doesn't have to do anything. Just put your feet up and turn on the television." So I've got that drive.
I love that. Well, Trini, thank you so much for being back at the table with us here at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome my bestie back to the table. That's John Hayden. He's a journalist for 31 years. He now focuses on hyper-local reporting, covering LGBTQ plus issues, Wilton Manors, Lauderdale by the Sea, Fort Lauderdale, and Oakland Park. If you live in those areas or even in the surrounding areas, you want to follow John Hayden, okay? So you can see all of his reports at Greater Wilton Manors on YouTube and also on Facebook. Welcome back to the show, John. I hear that you've got some sad news for us, unfortunately. What's going on?
I do, and I want to mention this. Congressman Barney Frank, the first openly gay member of Congress, who wasn't just openly gay, he was unabashedly gay. He has passed away. He was 86 years old. He was the first congressman to keep getting reelected and reelected. His district didn't care, or maybe they did care, and they wanted queer representation for their district. Either way, he served our community for decades, 16 terms, 32 years in the Congress. He got married to his husband while still serving as a congressman. He did so much work. He did so much lifting for our community. He paved the way for there to be LGBTQ caucuses in the states and in the Congress. So rest in peace, Barney, and thank you so much for what you did for our community. If you haven't heard of him or you want to know more about him, I've posted the Associated Press's obituary on Greater Wilton Manors, or just Google Barney Frank, because his life cannot be summed up in one article. Right? You know, each one's going to take on a little different characteristic and show you who he was. So thank you.
The dedication. Wow. 32 years. Incredible. Thank you, John, for making sure that our viewers were aware of this unfortunate passing of Mr. Frank. And thank you so much for being back at the table with us here at Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, my sister from another mother and father, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots happening out the FayWhat show. Faye, CommuniTEA Dance returns to downtown Miami for Pride celebration on June 7th. Tell me what's happening out.
I'm so excited for this, all right? So celebrate Pride Month at the Adrian Arch Center's 9th annual CommuniTEA Dance on June 7th at 4 p.m. at the Ziff Ballet Opera House stage in downtown Miami. This free, high-energy event welcomes South Florida's queer community and allies for an afternoon of music, drag, dancing, vendors, and community connection. Hosted by me. The event features headliner Alyssa Edwards, and I cannot wait to watch her perform. Performances by Lady Paraíso, Jellica Boom, Roxy Stones, L.A. the King, Anthony Velasquez, and music by DJ Zach Mantha, okay? Guests can also enjoy happy hour bites and drinks. Admission is free, gratis, but it's also first come, first serve, and there are only a limited amount of passes. So make sure that you go to archcenter.org for info and to reserve your passes. This is the 3rd year I'm hosting this event, boys. Can you believe that?
Congratulations.
Oh, God. But it's such, and I think that Trini can attest to this. So, we're on the stage. Like, the event is literally on the stage over there at the Arch Center. Like, that is where you are. You get to look out into the seats from the party, which is incredible, and to have like all these amazing local and national drag stars come. Alyssa Edwards, that is just beyond talented, gorgeous, and just so entertaining. And it's all to kick off Pride Month and to celebrate who we are authentically, in community with our allies and, eating some food, drinking some drinks, dancing the afternoon away. Because what I love about this is that it starts at 4 and you are home by 9.
Oh.
Okay, nice and toasty, happy with all your pictures of you and your
the
friends
rest
and
of the gays
everything.
are a twist.
The rest of the gays go down to the beach and go to twist. Sure, but it's a wonderful time. Thank you so much to the Arch Center for having me back again this year. To GMCVB for being an incredible sponsor of the event. Dan Rios and everybody over there. MDGLCC is also a huge supporter, and I honestly can't wait to do this again.
That's amazing. Alyssa Edwards is probably my favorite drag queen in the entire world. And so I'm super jealous that you get to spend that time with Alyssa. I'm going to be in one magical weekend in Orlando. Mm-hmm. So I just came to my mind, we're FaceTiming.
When I'm with her, I will FaceTime. I'll be like, listen, my friend needs to talk.
Yes.
I got you. I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen.
And by the way, Faye, thanks for broaching it up tonight, too.
Oh, you like my brooch?
Yeah.
I love this. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at CommuniTEA Dance on June 7th.
I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Ex-conversion therapy leader Alan Chambers arrested on minor solicitation charges. Alan Chambers, the former president of the once prominent ex-gay Christian organization Exodus International, has been arrested in Florida on charges related to soliciting sex from a minor during an undercover police operation. According to Orange County court documents, Chambers was arrested Tuesday by the Orlando Police Department and charged with solicitation of a minor via computer, sending harmful material to a minor, and illegal use of a two-way communication device. An affidavit obtained by local ABC affiliate Channel 9 Orlando News explains how the investigation went. A detective posing as a 14-year-old boy on Snapchat was contacted by someone identifying himself as a 50-year-old man named John David. The conversations later moved to Telegram and text messages and continued for several months. Police alleged the suspect repeatedly discussed meeting in person for sexual activity and expressed concerns about the age difference and potential legal consequences. Detectives linked the Snapchat, Telegram, and phone accounts to Chambers. Authorities said Chambers admitted to communicating with someone he believed to be 14 years old, but declined to answer additional questions after his arrest on May 19th. Baby, the call is coming from inside the conversion camp, okay? Every time one of these Pray the Gay Away leaders gets exposed, I'm reminded repression is not rehabilitation, okay? And the hypocrisy is so loud, it needs its own podcast. Yeah. Stop letting shame-based family value crusaders lecture us about morality. And by the way, not a drag queen and not a trans person.
Well, first off, there is no excuse for this crime. Child predatory behavior is not acceptable at any level, whether you're gay, straight, and it's mostly straight, no matter what. However, this goes to show that when you fuck with someone's mind, when you try and do things to them, to guilt them, to make them do these mental aerobics. There is permanent damage that is done. And this should be a warning call for anybody who is even thinking about sending their child to one of these camps that he used to run, because your child will come out much, much worse than when they went in.
I agree. The point I was going to make, and I am not a psychologist, I'm an armchair psychologist, but from what we see around us is the people who we probably have all kind of messed around with, those guys that are on the down low, that are repressing their sexuality. When somebody doesn't feel that they have an outlet to just be themselves, it does F with the brain.
Yeah.
And then any situation that they can kind of take advantage of, whether it's a kid in that maybe their parents don't know, or they can kind of get away. They find these kind of seedy avenues to try to find somebody else. And then they get into more trouble with it. You know, I remember when my mother found out I was gay, I told her, and she was saying, can't you just like, you know, marry a woman and just like kind of do some things on the side or whatever? And I'm like, why would I ever put a woman through that? You know, living out loud is what keeps me sane and keeps me to making good decisions. The people who are on the down low, who are ashamed of themselves, they also put themselves in a lot of risky sexual situations to where they can contract certain diseases or viruses or something like that. And it hurts our community in every way. It hurts society. So please, Catholic Church, allow your priests to marry. You know, allow people to be themselves, and the world will be a better place.
Well, you think about these people that sit in positions and, as I would say, judge us or tell us that what we're living morally wrong. But how many people have we seen in powers of position to say that, then they get caught?
And then they get caught.
And
And again, like Trini said, because there a lot of people are repressed, and unfortunately, I mean, look, you know, Grindr was almost taken down at the Republican National Convention, right? Those are people that are hiding who they are. And it's not a joke; it's the truth.
Right.
You know, and people lash out and do awful things to people that they can control, i.e., women, children, things like that. You know.
I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up health. The FDA has approved a new once-daily HIV medication called IDVYNSO. This is a simple tablet, 2-drug regimen designed for adults who are already undetectable and stable in their HIV care. For decades, most HIV treatment has relied on a 3-drug combination. IDVYNSO changes that. It is not based on integrase inhibitors and is completely tenofovir-free. This new medication performed just as well as one of the leading treatments, Biktarvy, in clinical trials, maintaining viral suppression in the vast majority of patients. So this is not just innovation, but confirmation that fewer drugs can still deliver the same outcome. Staying undetectable. Now, let's bring this into the real world. Here in Broward County and across South Florida, many people living with HIV are aging. We are managing more than just HIV. We are managing multiple medications, multiple conditions, and long-term health concerns. A simplified regimen like this could mean less drug burden, fewer long-term side effects, and more flexibility in care. And that matters, especially for long-term survivors. But IDVYNSO is not for everyone. It is specifically for people who are already virally suppressed, who have no history of treatment failure, and no resistance to one of its key components. So this is what we call a switch option. It's not it's not a starting point. Now, like all medications, there are considerations. Some side effects reported in the trials include diarrhea, dizziness, fatigue, and headache. And there are important drug interaction warnings that providers will need to monitor. This is why conversations with your healthcare provider remain critical. IDVYNSO does not replace the treatments we already have. It just expands them. And for the LGBTQ+ community, which continues to be disproportionately impacted by HIV, every new option is a step forward. You know, I saw the story, and I just think it's very interesting because it really shows what progress looks like with a new medication. And these are medications that you're not finding in other drug regimens. And we talk about 3-drug regimens, 2-drug regimens. We've got injectables. It's just another option for people. And it's very important to note when you're looking at people that they have to be undetectable. They have to not had where they didn't go off their medications and then they got back on it, and they didn't have adherence issues.
Yep.
So those are very specific people that they're going to be looking at for this drug.
You know, we usually have stories on people losing their coverage or people not being able to stay on the regimen that they were accustomed to be on. This is a medical win. This is something that we need to celebrate, right? You know, I know that there's a million questions, right? You know, how can someone get it? You know, is insurance going to cover it? Is it going to be one of those meds that cost so much and none of our insurance cover it? What's the point? You know, but at the end of the day, less pills, less stress. That's what we want.
Right, exactly. And it's a good thing, especially as we're aging. You know, drugs we know interact with all kinds of things, our kidney, our liver, heart, and so
other meds.
And you're combining that. And in our gay community, when we're, you know, dealing with things like erectile dysfunction drugs and people using inhalants, you know, for sex, or we're doing chemsex, how do those interplay in with all the drugs that they're taking? So those are very important things to have that conversation with your provider to let them know what you're doing, how you're engaging in sex, if you're using any type of drugs whatsoever. It's going to be very important in this.
It is. You say this is tenofovir free, but that's not an indictment of. We're not trying to get people off of tenofovir. I just don't want people to hear like, oh, tenofovir is bad. This is just an option too, correct?
Another option.
Yeah, another option.
Thank you.
So I think it's just, you know, and we're going to see more and more. There are more things in the pipelines that I've heard from different drug companies that we're going to be seeing over time. A lot more different options, and the idea is to give people what works for them and their care. Because as we try to move towards the cure, so to speak, for HIV, what do people really think the cure is? Is the cure meaning that they no longer have to take anything? Does it mean they only take something once a year and they consider that a cure? It's about quality of life, and that's what we're really
It's about living and thriving with HIV,
exactly.
You know, but as a whole, we've come a long way from AZT or whatever that it was back in the 90s.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
you know, it's hope.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for everything that you do on this front, because, you know, as a member of the community, I feel like I'm a little bit more aware than the average.
Right.
But I learn everything from you. this program, I don't see this really covered of all the topics that you cover on this show. So thank you for doing all of the research. Like, you know, I every time you speak, I listen, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You like that? Every time you speak, he listens. Watch out.
I'm TriniDaddy, and let's queer up gay culture. Apple's FaceTime warning is catching long-distance couples off guard. A recent Apple iOS update aimed at protecting users from unwanted explicit content is drawing criticism from some adults in long-distance relationships who say the feature is interrupting private FaceTime calls. The update introduces a, quote, sensitivity warning that blurs nudity detected in Apple apps, including FaceTime, Messages, AirDrop, and Contacts. The feature was designed to help protect children and non-consenting users from explicit material, but some social media users say the warning system has become an unexpected problem during consensual video calls with partners. TikTok user Jamie Knowles shared his experience after receiving a warning while showering during a FaceTime call with his long-distance boyfriend. Knowles said in a TikTok video, quote, "It blocks your screen like, are you sure you should be doing this? No one's forcing you to do anything. If someone is forcing you, please call this number." And I'm like, no, carry on, end quote. He later explained that users can disable the feature. Some users also raised privacy concerns, questioning whether Apple employees could view FaceTime content. However, according to Apple's support pages, the sensitive content detection happens directly on users' devices, meaning Apple does not have access to photos or videos unless a user reports content for review. I understand why they might put this on the phone. I'm a huge Big Brother is watching person that I hate. So, I mean, sometimes I might question whether they are able to screen grab, because it says unless somebody reports it. So if maybe you're with an ex or something and they're like, oh, let me report this right now, and then your information somehow gets compromised, even if they don't have the picture, just having something tied to my account that says, TriniDaddy has showed some nudity, 20 times in this month.
In the last hour.
Like, I don't know if I quite want them to have that information.
But can you turn it off?
You can
turn that setting
disable off, so I'm definitely
you know what I mean?
disabling this.
Like I get that, and I love it for kids. I get it. You know what I mean? If someone's trying to do something that they shouldn't with a kid, and that will just pop up. But I mean, like, if you have that long distance thing, and all of a sudden you're in that hottie toddy kind of moment, all of a sudden everything goes fun. Everything's going.
Or maybe it does heat up the romance if you leave it on. You're like, hey, baby. You're like, it's got a sensor. You better rush home tonight if you want some of this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, no.
John.
Hold it a little lower.
John, what are you doing?
What are you doing, John?
No, it's blur. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Yeah. It's very inconvenient, but I think we're overlooking the most important thing is here. You can now sext in the shower because phones are so good. Your iPhone will withstand it. So yay technology.
Yay.
Welcome
but listen,
to 2014, John.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John.
I haven't showered since 2014.
Well, and so everybody's got an iPhone, all right? I mean, the amount of people that I run into that have Androids are very, very few. Okay, I was an Android person for 20 years and I lost a bet and now I'm with iPhone and it is what it is. But I will keep my iPhone instead of getting like a Trump mobile that just came out.
Did it come out?
Yes.
Oh.
Horrible.
But wait a minute. So the way I understand it is your phone is catching this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how does that differ if you're watching a video that it says it can detect versus if you're on Grindr and you're getting pictures through Grindr?
Because that's not FaceTime.
But you're not maybe getting a video, like I said, or contacts, it said.
Yeah.
So it's like, how does it know the difference?
Well, if
Because
you're
you're on
texting
the app.
somebody, through your private messages or through your contacts, and FaceTime, but anything else, like if it's through an app, I don't think that.
Gotcha.
Also,
Your Grindr's okay. John.
Yeah.
And also, you're you can also still use WhatsApp video. You can still use Instagram video. So if they're having any issues with it of Apple collecting anything, there are other platforms to use.
And look, always assume everything you do electronically, either on your phone or your computer, just assume someone's recording it and it's going to be stored somewhere. I know they say WhatsApp, it's encrypted end to end and nobody can ever see it. Bullshit. Somebody can see it, okay? Yeah. So if you're going to do it, just assume someday it might come back to you.
Listen, at the end of the day, understand that Meta owns everything, okay? Yeah. And Meta also kisses the ring of you-know-who. All right, so where is that data going? All right, I mean, again, we all use this, but I mean, it's the truth.
I think that you should all find your straight crushes and tell them about the story and just say, look, let's just prove
Just get naked.
Let's just see if this works. Like, see how many of them buy into it. I bet you a couple of them will, maybe indulge you.
We will see. Okay, we'll let you know how that goes.
Hey, everyone, I'm John Hayden, and let's queer up the USA view. Thousands rally in Montgomery, Alabama to fight against voting rights rollbacks. Thousands of activists, civil rights leaders, and LGBTQ advocates gathered in downtown Montgomery for the All Roads Lead to the South voting rights rally just days after a Supreme Court ruling in Louisiana versus Calais, which weakens protections for black voters. Nearly 6,000 people marched to the Alabama state capitol to protest Republican-led gerrymandering efforts and demand stronger protections under the Civil Rights Act. More than 160 grassroots organizations participated, including LGBTQ+ advocacy groups, black religious leaders, students, and members of historically black fraternities and sororities. Participants began the day marching across the historic Edmund Pettus Bridge, the site of the 1965 Bloody Sunday attack during the Civil Rights Movement. Speakers include Senator Cory Booker, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, Representative Ayanna Pressley, and Tennessee lawmakers Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. Booker told the crowd, quote, "There is no liberation without obligation. If we and our generation do not now do our duty, we will lose the gains and the rights and the liberties that our ancestors afforded us," end quote. LGBTQ+ activists also stressed the connection between racial justice and queer equality, with Jones saying, quote, "We must send a message that if they come for one of us, they come for all of us." Organizers say grassroots voter efforts and outreach will continue across southern states through the November 3rd election. I don't know how much good this is going to do, I mean, Republicans are just going to get in there and they're going to draw the lines that they want to draw. But we still need to send a message that we are here, we are paying attention, we're listening. Yeah. And at some point, the pendulum's going to at least stop swinging away from us, right? It's going to stop. And as they're creating all these red districts, in close elections, or in landslide elections, I should say, which I think this is going to be this fall, some of those light pink districts are going to turn purple and blue. So for this year, and maybe in the next election cycle in 2028, this could come back to bite them in the ass.
But 6,000 people, like that's solidarity.
Right.
You
it
know?
is.
I mean, and all those organizations. You can't say it's for nothing.
Oh, no, I'm saying it won't have the effect that we would love, but it sends the message that we want to send.
I'm hopeful. I mean, we won't know till November 3rd that this gerrymandering will end up working in our favor.
How?
Because right now, I mean, through the Civil Rights Act, you're putting a lot of the black population into one district so they can have representation. When you gerrymander it so that you're taking a lot of these black, probably Democratic voters, and you're putting them into other districts that typically don't have as many Democratic voters, that with Trump's unpopularity rating right now, he's already on thin ice, even within many of the districts that we consider to be red. If you take some of these people, this population, and then dilute all of those Republican areas, it might end up working out that we gain more seats than we end up losing. So I don't know, but I think maybe this caucus and what they're doing to bring attention will hopefully get the independents in all of these other gerrymandered counties or districts to be like, you know what, we need to vote in solidarity with our black brothers and sisters, and we do that in all of these other districts, Yeah. So it could have a positive, gain for us, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. I'm thinking Selma, Alabama, right? You mentioned it in the story. And this is what happens when they try to erase history, too. And when you think back in our civil rights movement and what happened in the horrible things that happened in Selma. But to start there again, it's like you're going to make us relive history. And people aren't going to forget. You're actually allowing us to remember what has happened when our civil rights were
You're reminding us.
Right.
And I'm getting mad.
Yeah. So
let's get mad together. Exactly. I mean, can you imagine the power if black and queer people got together?
Yeah.
If black and brown people and queer people got together and just said, that's it, we're not going to take it anymore. Right. These stories would be a lot different.
Yes.
I remember back in the 60s when the civil rights was enacted, the country was much more racist then than it is now. So that should give us hope that, in this period of time that we can actually make a way bigger difference, so we have to hold on to some kind of hope,
Also in a country where the whites aren't necessarily always, the larger population. We're becoming a minority.
The majority,
Yeah, it's switching, and which I'm like, okay.
Which, of course, this is designed to fight.
Right.
Or hold off, stave off.
Yeah.
Till the end.
Yeah.
I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up politics. Republican Thomas Massie appears in video with racist anti-LGBTQ plus activist. Republican Congressman Thomas Massie is facing criticism after posting a video of himself performing music with David Riley, a far-right activist known for racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric. In the video, Massie played banjo alongside Riley and another musician while performing Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues. Extremist watchdog group Right Wing Watch identified Riley in the clip and resurfaced remarks he made during Idaho's Heterosexual Awesomeness Festival last year, where he said Boise, Idaho was appealing because, quote, there aren't any black people here, end quote. That's not all. Riley has a long history of making hateful comments. Riley attended the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, where he advised all right gays to, quote, stay in the effing closet, end quote. He has posted conspiracy claims about Jewish people controlling the media and undermining Western culture. He has also attacked LGBTQ plus inclusive education and falsely accused former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and his husband of child trafficking. The controversy comes as Massie's failed re-election campaign is also under fire for an ad attacking primary challenger Ed Gowering. The ad accuses Gowering of being, quote, bought and paid for by the LGBTQ mafia, while portraying support for queer rights, drag performers, and transgender people as extreme. Wow, you know, if your jam session starts sounding like a hate group meet and greet, maybe it's time to put the banjo down, baby. You know, I mean, calling people the LGBTQ mafia while hanging with extremists? Sir, that's not country music. That's Consequences with a soundtrack. What are you doing?
Take a breath.
Boys.
So,
Boys.
Thomas Massie, you know, terrible individual for the most part, but he was one of the few contenders that was actually standing up to Trump. He was the one that tried to get the Epstein Transparency Act through, which it did. And he's been opposing Trump on a few key issues that none of his Republican counterparts were standing up to. So he had a little bit of testicular fortitude. And I think these people, they should come around and realize you keep trying to be in line with these far-right people, you will eventually get yourself chewed up and spit out, just like you did right now. So there is time to come to our side. Do you see what they did to you? You saw what Donald Trump did to you. You see what going on these far-right podcasters and influencers just to make this orange goon happy. What it got you? It got you nothing, you know? So for all of these people who are sucking up, realize it's not going to work out for you in the end. Come to our side of things, right? We may not agree on everything, but you know a lot of what you did is wrong. You know what you're doing is wrong. Like we'll still give you a chiding, but you know you can still do the right thing. There is still time.
John?
Well, Kentucky 4 is a very, very red district, right? Yeah. And Massie lost his primary yesterday. His primary, 55% to 45%. That's a landslide. And that is showing the power that Donald Trump still holds over these backwards ass red districts where the only thing redder than the district is their neck, right? So and I haven't looked a lot into Ed Gowering, but I'm going to guess, even though they're putting the big rainbow flag over his face and, you know, probably has him, you know, as Grand Marshal Queen of the Pride Parade in District 4, I'm going to guess he's not going to be any better. Remember, you're swapping out one for the other.
Yeah.
You're not getting any particular big change.
He's more of a sycophant than
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be rallying.
He's got Trump's endorsement.
He's going to be rallying at the heterosexual, what is it?
Awesomeness
Festival?
Awesome.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Hotspots magazine talks about Take Pride and celebrating South Florida LGBTQ Trailblazers. Our Hotspots Happening Out LGBTQ lifestyle magazine Hotspots is back with a feature on Take Pride 2026, a History Fort Lauderdale benefit reception celebrating queer leaders and community advocates. I'm going to be hosting this event on May 28th at Galleria Mall, honoring change makers like Jason Parsley, Dennis Dean, and Commissioner Chris Caputo. Guests will also preview Coming Out of the Shadows, an exhibit exploring pre-Stonewall LGBTQ plus history in Fort Lauderdale. This feature story and many more are included in your free copy of the upcoming issue of Hotspots magazine on stands this Thursday, May 21st. Right? And you know, this event, I love hosting it. I believe this is my third year or fourth year hosting it. And every year, you know, like I can't imagine who sits down and figures out who to give this award to, because they're always more amazing. Every year, it's like, oh my God, where'd you get these people at? Oh wow, these people are amazing too. You know, so we did mention some of the folks that are going to get their spotlight, but also I wanted to mention a few more. Our chief of police, you know, Bill Schultz, who represents us everywhere he goes, okay, is also being spotlighted at Take Pride. Ronnie Larson, I mean, come on, he just had a naked spaghetti dinner. You weren't there. I was there. I saw too much. All right. Let's just say the meatballs did not cover the meatballs. All right. Nicole Stoddard is super, super, super talented. Tatiana Braxton, just, you know, her incredibleness with Trans Inclusive Group goes without saying, you know. The bishops here, the Bishop Durrell and Robert are also being spotlighted among other folks. So every year they do it big. It's such a wonderful way to kick off Pride. And thank you to History Fort Lauderdale and the Galleria Mall and Ellery and Michael Goodman and everyone who puts this all together every year, because I can see the blood, sweat, and tears really pay off every year.
Yeah. Our sister publication out South Florida, this is a cover story this week.
Oh, awesome.
Talking about the event coming up. I wrote it. I preview the event and go a little bit more into one of the randomly selected honorees, Jason. I don't know how that one got, how he got chosen. He's our publisher.
Jason with the good hair. Jason with the good hair.
Oh, yeah. Turns out he was a hairstylist for 8 years before he went into journalism. So I learned that about him when
That's why he has good hair.
Yeah.
That's why he's got good hair.
It is. It's described as iconic, and I couldn't agree more. But congratulations to Jason. Check out the Hotspots article. Check out the Out South Florida article that will be posted on outsfl.com and at Greater Wilton Manors as well.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. LGBTQ plus activist sues Waymo after app mistakenly flags him as a terrorist for 2 years. Waymo, the self-driving robotaxi service owned by Google's parent company, Alphabet, has updated its user verification policies after San Francisco queer activist Dr. Nasser Mohammed sued the company over a years-long account ban. Mohammed said he was denied access to Waymo rides beginning in November of 2023 because his name resembled names on a U.S. government terrorist watch list, after repeated customer support requests were closed without explanation. He shared the experience on social media where the company employees allegedly told him that the company's verification system had flagged his name through a Treasury Department sanctions database. His lawsuit stated his name was not actually on the list and argued the company failed to provide a human review. Mohammed later dropped the lawsuit, with Waymo created a process allowing users to request manual audits of account bans. Waymo ultimately verified Mohammed's account, though he says he now prefers rival robotaxi service Zoox. You know, I don't know much about, I figured, you know, eventually all of us LGBTQ individuals are probably going to be flagged on some type of list somewhere. It's going to happen.
And they'll put us in the car and it'll just take us right to the camp.
Exactly. Right.
Right.
Yep.
I thought they're so bizarre like that. They're flagging our names or measuring our names against a database of terrorists. Like, what does that have to do with hailing a cab or like getting a taxi? Like, does Uber do this? Do the other companies? And also, I mean, so many terrorist names sound like just normal Arabic names. So it's like, Mohammed bin Laden or something. Oh yeah, we're going to flag you. There's probably 100.
Right.
Just in LA.
Yeah.
It seems so bizarre that they're putting the names against a terrorist database for Waymo.
Yeah.
Well, you know, all these Christian, America First, Republican nationalists, every Arabic name is a terrorist name to them. They are monolithic. They only see one thing and they use it, and they're getting their fingers into platforms like this. Fortunately, this guy stood up, fought, and literally got his good name back.
Yeah, which he deserved. At the end of the day, Waymo's owned by freaking Google, okay? They should be better off at what they're doing at this point, okay? And Waymo sucks, okay? It's in Miami and it sucks, okay? It literally, one time it got stalled on the Venetian Causeway, and then just traffic was backed up for miles. Another Waymo refused to go on 95, and I couldn't blame them, right? Because we all know how 95 is, and also like almost caused an accident, and there was like some kind of like, closure because of it. So they've got a lot of kinks to work out still with Waymo. I'm surprised that even happened.
It's like they're taking the stance
surprised.
of like, we're not going to be the getaway car in a terrorist attack. That's our platform. That's our,
Oh my God.
So weird. I'm TriniDaddy, and let's queer up the world view. King Charles announces trans-inclusive UK conversion therapy ban proposal. King Charles III recently announced that the UK government will prioritize legislation to ban anti-LGBTQ+ conversion therapy practices. During the King's speech, which is written and endorsed by the ruling Labour Party, the monarch said, quote, "My government will bring forward a bill to speed up remediation for people living in homes with unsafe cladding and a draft bill to ban abusive conversion practices," end quote. An addendum clarified that the proposed ban would include attempts to change both sexual orientation and gender identity. The proposed ban would apply only to England and Wales. Why just England and Wales? Why not Scotland too? I think it's a wonderful message to put out from the King of England, merry old England, that
the colonizers themselves.
that they're a little further ahead than we are over here, saying you can't change a person's gender identity and you can't change their sexual orientation. So stop messing them up in the head and creating a worse society, as we just talked about in the other story.
Yeah.
So good on them. I mean, there are a lot of things to criticize Charles for, but this is not one of them. Good day.
And, you know, the king makes announcement is a great headline, but it's even bigger and better than that, because the king's speech, whether this was written by a Labour government because they have the parliamentary majority, it could have been a conservative government in years past. But so this is not just the king going, you know what, it's time. This is a good idea. This is a national position. The party in power, Labour, is coming out and saying conversion therapy is terrible. This is torture, and we are not going to put up with it anymore. And I'll tell you, it's going to pass, because just about anything that's written in the King's speech, which is done at the beginning of each parliamentary session, right? Just about everything that's listed in there passes. So House of Lords may drag their feet for a little while. House of British Lords, not our House of Lords.
Got
it. But they may drag their feet.
TP Lords.
But if it was TP Lords, this would have been done a while ago.
We would have taken care about this already. Yeah.
Well, didn't know you were so knowledgeable about UK politics.
Oh, yeah. LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up trans rights. Suspect charged with first-degree murder for the brutal killing of a trans student. A 31-year-old man is charged with first-degree murder for the fatal stabbing of trans University of Washington student Juniper Blessing. Prosecutors say Christopher Michael A. acted with premeditated intent in the killing of 19-year-old student whose body was found on May 10th in a laundry room on campus housing. The medical examiner says Blessing was stabbed more than 40 times. Leahy surrendered to police over the weekend and is now being held with $10 million bond and, as we said, is now officially charged in the murder. Authorities say so far there is no evidence Blessing was targeted because she was transgender. But the fact is she was transgender. And so they stayed on this. You know, even people who aren't killed because they're trans, it's easy for them to get left on the side of the road because they were trans, and investigators won't care. So I'm glad that investigators continue to follow this, and I'm glad that prosecutors are bringing as heavy charges as they can.
I actually saw this story yesterday in the classical music world, because we have our own channels on Facebook and stuff, and even on the violin channel, they mentioned this story, but they didn't mention that she was trans. They just said, but when you're looking at the pictures and you're kind of reading, I was like, this looks like a trans story. But I guess because they didn't, they haven't concluded that the intent was because she was trans, that they decided to leave that out. So it has made some waves outside of the LGBTQ world, because I think she was a very talented vocalist with, like, I think it said a 5-octave range in the story that I was reading, and just had such a promise to becoming a great musician. So it's a loss for our world as well.
Yeah. You know, it was something that John had mentioned on Monday that I would just reiterate, was that too many times we talk about trans folks murdered, and the killers never are brought to justice. They're never apprehended. And in this story, we know who did it, and he was arrested, and now he will be charged officially. So, you know,
and we're going to follow this. We're going to follow the preliminary hearing. We're going to follow everything to hopefully a plea deal so that Juniper's family can have a little peace without having to relive this every single time.
Amen. LGBTQ plus one, and 1 Minute News, let's queer up lesbians and queer women. Off-campus author faces lesbophobia, claims over depiction of women in book series. Amazon Prime Video's adaptation of Elle Kennedy's best-selling romance series Off Campus is out, and it is attracting mixed reactions. Critics on TikTok and BookTok have called out author Elle Kennedy's portrayal of women kissing women in scenes, saying they cater to male fantasy rather than authentic sapphic representation. BookTok creator at Diaries of a Femme has accused the books of fetishization, arguing that same-sex interactions in the series are written mainly for male characters' sexual gratification. The controversy has sparked debate online, with some readers defending Kennedy's creative choices, while others say the book and TV adaptation should not be supported. You know, we've got to support women authors. We've got to support women doing projects like this. Why do we have to break them down at every corner, right? Women and lesbians have been fetishized forever, since the beginning of time, all right? This is no different, all right? No. Two women kissing are because it's sexy, no matter what. It doesn't matter who's looking at it, you know? It's gentle, it's nice, it's sweet, it tastes good, you know? So, I mean, as a lesbian, I don't see the phobia in it. I don't see it as not representing lesbians. I don't think it's trying to or not. I mean, the show is called Off Campus. That's about college life off campus, right? And I don't know about you, but I got all my lesbianism in. I got my PhD in lesbianism in my sophomore year of college, all right? So, I don't see anything wrong with this story.
No, well, Faye, I appreciate your opinion, but now if you would just let the guys talk about this so we can get to the real issue of it. I mean,
I think that whoever is criticizing her is just kind of criticizing more of a global issue and then just targeting one person, which I think is kind of unfair.
Yeah.
And lesbophobia, that's the first time I've ever heard that word, but I will be using it every time I sit next to Faye.
I knew it. I knew it.
But come on, fetishism, as they're calling it, is everywhere. We see it in every kind of movies. Yeah, someone's smoking something. I don't know.
We fetishize everything.
Yeah, we do.
You know, and again, it just depends if you're doing it in a wrong way,
right,
or, you know, I mean,
harmful way,
in a harmful way.
Right.
Are we going to ban Tootsies? I mean, like going to a strip club and seeing women who are like wanting to be sexualized. Like, you know, I get what you're trying to say, but you're kind of going about it the wrong way. You know?
Yeah. Go see the show, okay? And then let us know if it's fetishized or not.
Kiss a woman and see how you like it.
Yeah, see how you feel about that, all right? Don't kiss me. As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida. Get your nose out of there.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight, and our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversations on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world telling these types of LGBTQ+ stories. That is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and of course, Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor, FayWhat, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including Von Biggs, TriniDaddy, and John Hayden. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ+ world. We wish you a good night.
Night.